Hi, my name is John Edwards, and welcome to Raw Ingredients. This series is called Tiny Kitchen Magic. So, the whole point is put you at ease when you're at home cooking. I'm purposely filming it inside my tiny apartment kitchen to just show you that it's very easy to make elevated cuisine in a very humble setting. I have one rule. That rule is have fun. I know sometimes cooking can be a daunting task, but I'm going to help you through the process of making it a fun task. Okay, so what we're going to do for this episode is we're going to make fresh made pasta. By the end of this video, you will be a pasta making expert. Just a few ingredients, 4 ingredients. All we need is all purpose flour, some olive oil, 1 egg, and some salt. All right, so we're going to take a mixing bowl. We're going to put our all-purpose salt in here. That is 3 ounces of all-purpose flour. Excuse me. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to take salt. You're going to use about a half teaspoon of salt. All right. We're going to crack 1 egg. So we're going to make a well right in the middle of this thing, like a volcano. Okay, where you see the bowl. All right, we're just sifting the flour and the salt together. Then we're just making a volcano right in the middle. We're going to crack our egg. Here's what you want to do. Here's a little tip. Crack your egg into a separate container first. That way, if you have any shell, you can pull it out. Or if you've got a bad egg, you can get that out of there first. People always say, oh, man, how do I know if I have a bad egg? Trust me, you crack that thing open, you'll know it's a bad egg, right? All right, then we're going to put our olive oil in. You're going to do half a teaspoon of olive oil, boom, right into the egg. All right, now, here's what we want to do. We want to take our rubber spatula. We're going to have a claw, okay? So first, we're just going to take our rubber spatula, break that yolk. You do want to break the yolk, right? We do want to break the yolk. I'm just giving you a little easy way of doing it. The advanced way is you would not use your spatula. We would just use our claw, but we're going to start with our spatula. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to mix this. You don't have to be very gingerly, right? You can get after it. You want to mix it until it gets to almost like a wet sand kind of look. And it'll look like, man, there's not enough liquid in this. Trust me, there's enough liquid. So this is what we want it to look like, right? Then we're going to pull off that extra dough that's on our spatula. Now we're done with the spatula. This is where the claw comes in. So what we want to do is keep a firm claw. No squeezy. All right, it's very important. If you squeezy, you're going to end up with a big baseball mitt on your hand and no dough in the bowl. So firm claw. We're just pressing it into it, going around the bowl, collecting the liquid, making it one homogeneous mixture. As you go, you'll notice a ball of dough will eventually start to form. Remember, no squeezy. All right, so this is a little bit of a vigorous process. You will start to get your workout on. But look, see how our dough is starting to come together into a ball. And we're just literally cleaning the sides of the bowl with the ball of dough. Now look at that. That looked like it was not going to be enough liquid. Et voila, we have a ball of dough. Now, look at my bowl. It's clean. There's not a whole bunch of stragglers left behind. That's how we want it. So right now, our ball of dough, it's not a finished ball of dough yet, but it has started to come together. So if we look at this closely, you'd be able to see the wet and the dry patches in here. All right. So now what we're going to do is what's called kneading the dough so that we can get that to become a homogeneous mixture. Okay, second thing. Notice what I do not have out on my board. This is called your workbench. I do not have any flour. Okay, so many times people load the board up with flour. The problem is, remember, right now the dough is not fully come together. So running it through flour is gonna bring that flour into the dough and make it too dry. So we're gonna do a little dance move. We're gonna learn a dance move. We're gonna call it the stretch, turn, fold. Okay, this is how we're gonna knead the dough. The whole point of kneading the dough, two reasons. For one, there's gluten in the flour. So we want to activate that gluten. We're not creating gluten, it's already in the flour inherently. We're going to activate it because what the gluten will do will give it structure. So it'll kind of be elastic. It'll give, but then it'll snap back. So we want to activate it. Also, we want to have the dough to come completely together. So we're going to knead it. So we're going to do a stretch, turn, fold. Heel of the hand, right? We're going to take it and stretch it forward. We're not smashing it to where it starts to roll up the back of my hand like that. Then we're going to turn it. Then we're going to fold it. Now, if we move quickly, it will not stick to the table. Stretch, turn, fold. Now, I have a small batch of dough, and this does scale very well. So it's actually easier if you have a larger batch of dough. You can do it two-handed. If you got small hands, you got a big lump of dough, you can do it with two hands. So we're just going to keep kneading that. Keep bringing the dough together. Keep activating our gluten. Notice it is not sticking to my table, right? If you slowly saunter and you massage, your hands will warm it up and it'll start to stick to the board more. We want to just keep it moving. I'm actually moving so vigorously, I'm moving the table. It's all good. Boom. Now, look at that. So we have a fully come together ball of dough. Now what we're going to do, that's it. It's done. We're done. That's it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab one of two things. We can either use a seal bag, resealable bag, depending on the size of your dough and the size of the bag, or you can use some cling wrap or regular plastic wrap. I'm going to use my resealable bag. We're going to close it up, and then we're just going to let it sit, okay? So we want to rest the dough for two reasons. So right now, think about after you work out, right? And you're pumped, your muscles are pumped, right? Well, we just worked out that dough and the gluten is pumped. So if we tried to roll it through our roller right now, it won't give. It's like those muscles that have just been worked out. We want to let it relax. So it's literally called relaxing the dough. So we're resting it so that the dough, the gluten will relax. And then as we stretch it, it will give some, but then it'll snap back a little. That's what we're looking for. We have it in our plastic because it will dry out. So don't leave it sitting out. You're doing all this hard work. Don't leave it sitting out in the air uncovered because it will start to dry out. Now, real quick, there's always a question people have. Well, how do I know when to rest a dough in the refrigerator? How do I know when to rest a dough not in the refrigerator? So if you have a leavened dough, meaning it's got something in it to make it rise, like baking soda, yeast, baking powder, you want to rest it outside of the refrigerator because otherwise that'll dampen how much it'll proof. So if you're proofing the dough, you want it to be out in a warm environment. If you're making something that's got solid fat in it, like cookie dough, brownie dough, right? Where you took and you creamed your fats together, your sugar, your fat. If you're making biscuit dough, where it's got little lumps of butter in it, you want to make sure you refrigerate it because you don't want the fat to soften too much. For this, even though it's not a leavened dough, we're going to leave it out because it'll get too hard. So we won't be able to work with it. So since we need it to be malleable, even though it's not a leavened dough, we're going to let it sit out, room temperature, doesn't have to be anywhere warm, and just let it sit out for about 10 to 20 minutes. And then we'll take over from there.